feel the master. I feel them. Y'all ready? They ready? Well, come on. Well, come on. Y'all ready? They ready? We ready? We ready? Come on.
We ready, folks, because football is finally back. We finally made it. And we have got the RW and JB Sports Podcast and ATX episode 5, where we're going to give you our preview and predictions for this NFL season. We're going to start with the NFC North and just go through the different divisions and tell you where teams stand and why, and then go to the AFC, and then we'll finish it off with some baseball talk. So starting in the NFC North division, I had the Detroit Lions in last place. The Lions are a team that last year really had troubles at tight end, so they addressed that in the draft and went out and got T.J. Hawkinson from Iowa at number 8 overall, which a lot of people thought was a stretch, but in the Lions' case, they really needed a tight end, so I thought that the move made sense. Their defense is average, but I just have them at 4-12 because I think the NFC North is the most competitive division in the league, and there's really 3 teams. Everyone except the Lions has a chance of winning that division. I just don't see the Lions really being a powerhouse in the NFC because their receiving core is average now that they got Danny Amendola and Jermaine Kearse. Marvin Jones is their number 1 receiver, and he's not very reliable at all. Kenny Galladay's had a pretty good year last year. They're waiting for him to really break out. But I just really don't see them winning the North. I know the Lions fans are really excited for this year, but unfortunately, I have them at 4-12.
Yeah. Thing is with the Lions, I have them 6-10. And also have the Vikings 6-10, but Lions, I have them winning one more division game, so that automatically makes them third, dropping the Vikings to last in the division. With the Lions, they have an average quarterback, probably the most average in Matthew Stafford. He's not bad, but he's definitely not MVP or will lead the team to the playoffs all by himself. He's going to need some help, and that's going to rely heavily on Kerryon Johnson as their main running back. I mean, he's not bad, but he's also, again, he's going to have to really have a career year to push his team to maybe a wild card at best. And wide receivers like Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, and Danny Amendola are also going to have to really step it up there for this team to be wild card material.
Yeah, and then in third place, I had the Vikings. Again, I know that last year, I believe they were 8-7-1. A lot of the Vikings fans were disappointed in that. But honestly, again, with this division being so competitive, I think the Packers are going to be back this year, back to what they should have been last year. But, Mike McCarthy, they felt was holding them back. But now they should be back. And I think that the thing with the Vikings is they should be a lot better than I think people think they should. Like in the sense that they have Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, one of the best wide receiver duos in the league.
Yeah.
And then now they're going to have a full season of Dalvin Cook if he can stay healthy, and he's a really reliable running back. It's just the thing with Kirk Cousins is I think his contract is saying he's getting like $27 million this year or something crazy like that. And Kirk Cousins is not that good. And then the thing with the Vikings, again, is that their defense was really struggling last year. Their offense would put up a lot of points, but the defense just wasn't good enough. And I don't really see what's any different this year except the fact that they have Dalvin Cook. I think that pushes them only a half game better of what they were last year in this division. So I'm not really high on the Vikings this year. I'm much higher on the Packers and Bears.
Yeah, with the Vikings, I mean, it's not like I have them last because of like their talent. They have a really good wide receiver core. Dalvin Cook is a monster running back when he's healthy. The main thing is Kirk Cousins. I mean, he was really good at his time, like in, 2018, whenever they made it.
Years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Last year, he really fell off from being a really good quarterback. And not just that, but their schedule is really tough. Whenever you have to play the Bears and the Packers
4 times.
four times, that's a tall order to get at least 2 wins. And in the middle of the season, whenever you have to play the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Seahawks, the Chargers, and all that, it's really going to be just a high value of them winning. So
I think Kirk Cousins is really holding them back. I know Vikings fans don't want to hear that, but I really think he is. And then moving on to second place, I feel like the Bears are in the same kind of situation. I don't feel that Mitch Trubisky is good enough to take the Bears over the hump. Last year they won the NFC North, which was good for them. But again, the division was not as good as it was predicted to be last year, and they kind of won a weak division. But this year, again, with the Packers back, the Bears defense isn't going to be able to do all the work. They're going to have to put up 24, 27 points a game kind of thing instead of last year where the defense would even score sometimes. And they would set up offense with great field position. But, I mean, Khalil Mack's a beast. That defense is incredible. It's very scary to go against, but the offense is just really holding them back. And now they don't even have Jordan Howard. They're really high on David Montgomery, who they drafted in one of the lower rounds this year. I believe he was from Iowa State. They're really high on him. They think he's going to have a breakout year, but they shipped Jordan Howard off to Philadelphia for like a 7th round pick, so that they really didn't like what he was giving them, which was interesting because he was one of the leading rushers, I think, for the Bears last year. So, yeah, I have the Bears at 9-7 and 3-3 in the NFC North.
Well, for the Bears, I have them winning the division, going 10-6, and I have them going 5-1 for division.
I think they have a 10-6 ceiling. I think we can
and
like an 8-8 kind of floor.
Yeah. Tyreek Cohen, their running back, was their primary running back last year. He is not known for power back rushing yards. He's mainly known for his speedster and really good at catching the ball and getting yak yards after catch.
Yeah.
And but they drafted David Montgomery this year, and he's automatically being labeled as their RB1 because he is the power back, and that's mainly what you want a running back to do. So there's that. For the wide receivers, Allen Robinson, really good player.
But he's short.
Yeah, he's really short.
They've been playing him not in the slot, and that's where he's most comfortable, and I think that's one of the bigger problems with the Bears.
Also, Cordell Patterson, he should be pretty good. And then also Anthony Miller, Cordell Patterson, and people like that, Riley Ridley. For the schedule, I mean, they do play in a tough, NFC North, but they are one of those juggernaut teams. Their only main issue is going to be the Packers and teams like that.
Vikings.
Yeah, they also have to play the Saints, the Eagles, Chargers, and they have to play the Rams and all that. So it should be.
I think if the Bears can figure out kicker, they'll probably go 10-6. But the guy that they have right now, I think his last name is Pinheiro or something. He was the guy that shanked that extra point in the preseason. And the Bears fans do not like to see that after Cody Parkey last year. I think kickers are so important, and they're such an overshadowed part of the game. In reality, they can win or lose you about 2 or 3 games a year, depending on if you can make a game-winning kick or not. So I think if the Bears can figure that out, they'll probably go 10-6.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, I have the Packers coming away in the NFC North, at 11-5, and as the 2 seed in the NFC. The Packers last year they felt they were held back by Mike McCarthy. They fired him. They were the first team this offseason to go and hire a new head coach. They hired Matt LaFleur, who I believe was previously in Tennessee, which was kind of a questionable move given they were the first team and they had all the options. They could have hired Bruce Arians or someone of that stature, but they go with Matt LaFleur. They think he's going to fix Aaron Rodgers because they think Mike McCarthy broke him last year. I really like Devontae Adams. He's one of the more underrated receivers in the game, I think. Aaron Jones, again, is an underrated running back. They no longer have Clay Matthews. He's in L.A. now with the Rams, but I think that defense is going to be solid still.
Yeah.
And then I really think that they're going to be the 2 seed only behind New Orleans with the best record in the NFC.
Yeah, I had the Packers 2nd seed going 8-8. I know it's kind of weird. The thing is, a new coach figuring out this team. I know that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best, probably top 3, currently. It's definitely weird to have them missing the playoffs at 8-8. But I just see so many question marks. Devontae Adams, he's like you said, he's broken because of Mike McCarthy. I don't know, it might be too far gone. And besides that, Aaron Jones, he isn't really a back you think of whenever you think really good running backs. So whenever you have a team or an offense that only has Aaron Rodgers and not really much weapons to help them with that, I mean, they do have a good defense, but not one of the top defenses.
Yeah, I think Jair Alexander is going to have a big year, though. He was a rookie last year, and he was one of the more underrated corners in the league. He had a really good year for the Packers, but since they were, I believe 7-8-1 or maybe 8-7-1 as well as the Vikings, he was overshadowed by other corners. But he's really good. Yeah, and they expect him to have a big year. They need him to have a big year.
The thing is, though, also with the Packers schedule, the NFC North, their schedule is all of these teams have really tough.
Yeah, they play the NFC West, right, with the Seahawks.
Yeah, and what I'm noticing is teams like the Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings, they have to play a plethora of teams, really elite AFC as well. You'll see that they have to play the Chiefs, the Chargers a lot, and coupled with that, most of these teams have to play the Cowboys as well, one of the premier NFC teams as well. So that's why I have them going 8-8 and missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel you. The Packers, like the Lions, I feel like are one of the teams with a lot of question marks, and kind of the Bears and Vikings. I think there's a lot of question marks in this division. That's why I previously said that this is one of the more competitive divisions. I think the most competitive because there's really 3 teams, maybe 4. You can maybe make an argument that the Lions could win, but there's there's really three really strong playoff caliber teams in this division that are all going to be trying to go for the North crown at the end. And I really think that the Packers are going to figure it out. I just like Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he's a really good quarterback. Let's move on to the NFC South now. I think we're pretty unanimous on this one. That the poor Buccaneers are
terrible,
caught in the shadows of these other good teams in the NFC North. I have them going 3-13. The thing with the Bucs is like Jameis Winston. I don't really know what to think of him. I mean, he has Mike Evans. Mike Evans is really good. I think he's a top 10 receiver in this league. Again, gets overshadowed by the other good receivers in this league, but he's a big target. Barber, I think, is going to have a big year out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He gives them some speed. But Winston, I feel like, is again just holding this team back. Last year, he liked the Winston to Humphreys duo, but now Humphreys is gone, so he's going to have to throw it to Evans, I guess, more. But honestly, in a division with the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers, I have them going 0-6 and 3-13 overall. 0-6 being in the division.
Yeah. For the Buccaneers, I have them, again, last place in their division, as well as the NFC. They go 4-12, 1-5 in their division. Like you said, Jameis Winston, oh, man. He is not the player that was once drafted.
He got benched last year,
I know,
too.
for real.
We can't forget that. He got benched for Fitzpatrick last year.
Running backs, really nothing there besides Peyton Barber.
Yeah, Barber.
That's it. Wide receivers, Mike Evans, really good, top 10 wide receiver. That's it, really, besides wide receiver. He has no weapons, Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
And their schedule, again, brutal. That's a play in the same division as the Saints and all them. It's bad.
So my third place team in the NFC South, I have them actually making the playoffs still, is the Carolina Panthers at 10-6 and 4-2 in the NFC North. The Panthers last year were set up to be the 1 seed. I believe they were like 8-2 or 6-2, and they went on a monster losing streak, which killed their season. But now that Cam Newton's back from his shoulder injury, he's going to be healthy. I really think this team's going to have a breakout year. DJ Moore is a really good receiver. Again, super underrated. Christian McCaffrey is now the third best running back in the league, according to most experts. I think this team is going to have a really good year. Their defense is really strong, and I think they're going to be the second wildcard team in the end.
Yeah, for the Panthers, I have them going 6-10, divisional record of 2-4. I mean, Cam Newton is, don't get me wrong, a really good quarterback, but as of late, like these 2 seasons or whatever, he hasn't really shown that quarterback play that really got him to the Super Bowl. What's it called?
2015.
Yeah, 2015. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, really good running back. I don't think anybody expected him to break out the way he did last season. Wide receivers, they have DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Chris Hogan, people like that. I mean, not a really reliable number 1, but like
they don't have a number 1, but they have good speed.
Yeah, for real.
That's what they lived off last year.
And then their schedule, again, playing in the West or whatever. South. Playing in the South, it's definitely going to be challenging for them to get in the playoffs. I just don't see it for them.
My number 2 team in the NFC South division is the Atlanta Falcons, a team that really, I think, should have made it last year.
Yeah.
They, again, like the Vikings, they have this amazing receiving core, and you throw, you have Mohamed Sanu, you have Julio Jones, and now then you have Calvin Ridley. He had a breakout season last year. So they have speed, they have size, they have everything. They have a good backfield now with Deontay Foreman Deontay Freeman back in healthy.
Oh yeah, it's Freeman.
And their defense is pretty good too. There's no reason that this team shouldn't be 10 or 11-5. I have them 4-2 in the division, and I have them as the first wild card team. Again, this division is loaded, but the Falcons have the weapons to make it happen. And I think this year is the year that they get back to the playoffs. Last time they were in it, that didn't turn out so well for them in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to be back to that caliber team this year. Matt Ryan, I got him in fantasy. He's one of the best quarterbacks, I think, in fantasy in the league. Mm. He puts up monster points. He gets a lot of yards. Throwing to Julio and Sanu and Ridley really helps. But, again, size, speed, their offense is really good, and it's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, for the Falcons, I also have them number 2 in the division. They do make the playoffs as a 5 seed. They go 9-7 and 4-2 in their division. Falcons, they are really a really good team, honestly. You have people like Julio Jones, Matt Ryan. It's a good offense. Their defense, not bad at all either. The thing is, just the schedule as well. The main thing, you have to look at schedules with these teams. Like, the Falcons are good enough to contend with these teams on their schedule, but when you have a team like the Saints, they're just a better overall team to combat with these like scheduled teams. So that's why I have them number 2 in the division. They do make the playoffs, but just not the top dog.
The number 1 team in the division for me and the number 1 seed overall is the New Orleans Saints. We all know how last year ended. I think this year they're going to come back. They're hungry. They're pissed off, because of how last year ended. And I mean, this team went 13-3, I believe, last year. They were so good last year, and I think they would have won the Super Bowl if they were in it. But I think they're going to be back to that this year. Kamara, Taysom Hill, Michael Thomas, Drew Brees.
Yeah.
They are stacked on offense, and their defense is really good too, with Cam Hayward leading the charge at defensive end. Their corners are all really solid. Marshawn Lattimore is like their best one. The Saints are just really, really good. I have them at the 1 seed, and I have them actually winning the Super Bowl this year over New England because I really think this is going to be the Saints year. They're pissed off, and that's mostly the main reason for them going all the way, I think.
For me, this might be a surprise to you, Justin, but I have them as the 3 seed, going 13-3 with a divisional record of 5-1. There really is not one, what would you say, problem that the Saints face positionally. No. One of the best quarterbacks, one of the best wide receivers, and one of the best running backs on offense, and a very above average defensive side of the ball they have.
Yeah, the defense is really good.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really see a problem with this team. I think they go far into the playoffs, but I think they lack just a little bit of experience on the defensive side that they don't make it all the way this year.
Okay. So let's move into the NFC East now. Starting with the last place New York Giants. I'm sorry, Giants fans, but this is not going to be your year. I have them going 3-13 and 1-5 in the division, and I think it had them actually ending up with the first pick, which is good for the Giants because now that Odell's gone, they have Saquon Barkley. He's their future with Daniel Jones taking the snaps. They're building towards the future. This is a rebuilding team. They're probably in full tank mode minus Barkley. They're releasing everyone good they have, but Saquon Barkley's really good, and I think he's the reason they get 3 wins this season. But honestly, a team in full tank mode, they're rebuilding. It's going to take some time. I'm a Browns fan. I went through this my entire life. Just look forward to the future, Giants fan, because it's bright. There's light at the end of the tunnel somewhere.
Yeah, for me, the Giants, again, they're not doing anything this year. I have them going 4-12 with a divisional record of 1-5. Oh, Eli Manning, what happened to you? Once promising 2-0 in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, now you're bottom feeder, trash quarterback. Oh, man. Well, I will say, the Giants do have Saquon. He is the player of the future for them.
He's gonna win this this year.
Yeah.
Couple games.
Nothing else for the Giants, honestly. No bright sides, no wide receivers, not really anything defensive-wise.
Sterling Shepard's solid. I think he's going to be on their team moving forward, but he's not anything compared to what they just gave up in Odell.
Yeah, Saquon's going to be a beast, dude.
Oh, yeah,
one of the best we'll ever see.
Saquon's fun to watch. I got to admit that. My third place team in the NFC East was the Washington Redskins. So this is an interesting team. They went out and they got Dwayne Haskins, quarterback from Ohio State, in the draft, but they're going to start Case Keenum, which is interesting. He was good a couple years ago when he took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game. And then last year, I think he just didn't really fit in Denver. There was some internal problems there. I mean, again, Denver has no receivers, but he just didn't really fit in there. So he's going to be leading the charge now. Adrian Peterson's back now. I think this team is going to be decent, as they always are. The Redskins are really one of the more mediocre teams always in the NFL. I think they're going to be 7-9 this year. The NFC East has 2 really good teams in it, so it's going to be hard for the Redskins. I have them going 7-9 and winning 2 division games, which is actually impressive, though.
Yeah, basically the same with you. Redskins, I have them 3rd in the division, going 5-11 with a 2-4 divisional record. I do agree that Dwayne Haskins, he should be benched for now to learn off of Kirk, because you need a veteran. That's what they do, basically. That's the normal thing whenever you draft what would you say? Yeah, rookie quarterback that you want to be the
the Giants
future.
are doing that with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, exactly. It's what they did with players like Baker Mayfield and all that, Yeah. Honestly, I mean, they have Trey Quinn, all that. I will say, one of the most underrated running backs that people don't really give enough attention to. He came off of injury, Darius Guice.
Oh, Darius Guice. Yeah, you're right about that.
Guice.
He missed last year with a torn ACL.
Terrible.
He was from LSU, and he was really good, and they were really looking forward to having him. But now they're going to have him. This is kind of his rookie season, kind of like a Ben Simmons kind of thing. Injured, and now he's going to get a full year. That's right. And they still have Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I will say I really like Adrian Peterson giving some experience to Darius, because Darius is going to be, I think, really going to break out this year. Honestly, it's just going to depend on if he wants to work hard enough to get back to that state that he was in college. So that's why I have the Redskins going 5-11. They will win some games. Other than that, nothing really.
Yeah, they're not in tank mode.
No.
All right, my number 2 team of the division was the Dallas Cowboys. I know the Cowboys fans don't want to hear this. They actually missed the playoffs at 10-6, which is really unheard of. You have a team making the Falcons making at 9-7. I'm going 10-6 and not making the playoffs just because the Panthers and Falcons had like some sort of tiebreaker. The Cowboys, I have them going 5-1 in the division. Probably, I suspect, only losing in Philadelphia if I remember right. The Cowboys are really good now that they're going to be good since they have Amari Cooper for a whole year. Because earlier in the year last year, Dak didn't really have anyone to throw to besides checking it down to Zeke. So now, but we don't know if Zeke's coming back yet. They're saying they're hoping he's going to be able to go someday. But if not, Tony Pollard steps in, and Tony Pollard's not bad. But he's no Zeke. But
of course,
if they get Zeke back, I have him going 10-6. That defense is really scary too. I really like Byron Jones. They don't throw his way though, so he doesn't get the stats, but he's pretty good. And then they got Leighton Vander Esch. That defense is really good. I don't like the D line, but I like every other part of the defense. But besides DeMarcus Lawrence, they don't really have anyone.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, for the Cowboys, I have the number 2 seed going 14-2.
Whoa,
going 6-0 in the division.
Whoa.
This team is gonna break out.
Okay.
Players like Ezekiel Elliott.
That's a hot take.
He's gonna. No, I know. He's gonna get signed. Obviously, this whatever.
They have to get it done.
Yeah, he will get signed. He will get signed. What do you have? Dak Prescott. I think he's gonna break out as well. Now they has Amari Cooper, players like Randall Cobb and Michael Gallup as well. Gallup is not really known, but he's also a really solid wide receiver 3. And I really think this is the year that everything comes together and they figure everything out and they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay, whoa, okay, that's an unpopular opinion. That's a hot take.
I know.
All right, I actually have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this division. I'm really excited to see if Carson Wentz can be, back. I mean, it's really disappointing for Eagles fans seeing their quarterback literally go down every single season. But Nick Foles stepped into his role nicely last year, but he's gone now, so they don't really have a backup quarterback now behind Carson Wentz. So it's Wentz's team. So if they go to the playoffs, this is Wentz's team now. You don't have Nick Foles to step in. I have them going 11-5. I like the acquisition of Jordan Howard. Getting him for a 7th-round pick, I think, was a steal. Yeah. Their receiving core is absolutely stacked. Nelson Aguilar, Alshon Jeffrey. They got all these guys. Wentz has a lot of options. Their O-line is pretty good. They're just going to need to not get Wentz hurt. That's number one priority for the Eagles. Their defense is stacked all around. Yeah. I really like the Eagles in this division. I have them as the 4 seed, actually. So they get a home playoff game with the win of the NFC East.
All right, so for the Eagles, I have them number 2 seed, making the playoffs as a 6th seed, going 9-7 with a divisional record of 3-3. Again, the biggest question mark is Carson Wentz's health. That's why they drafted Andre Dillard in the first round.
Yeah, they moved up to get him. They moved over
they
Houston,
stole it. Screw you. Anyway, so with the Eagles, they have running back depth and all that. Not
they
really.
Got Darren Sproles, too.
Yeah, they do have Darren Sproles.
I like that, too.
They also, like you said, really good wide receiver core with Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, all that. It's just, I just don't see them really making it to
if Wentz stays healthy, if Wentz they're winning this division.
Even if Wentz is healthy, I don't see them winning the division.
Okay.
No.
I think they do.
I know.
We'll have a debate. Okay. The NFC West, another division that's going to be interesting to watch for, and I think not so much in the top or bottom, but in the middle, those middle 2 teams. So let's just start at the bottom. The Arizona Cardinals now with Kyler Murray. I don't think Murray's really going to be anything this year. I think he needs to learn for a little bit. He still has probably 1 or 2 years more of Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah. I really, 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 really like David Johnson coming out of the backfield. I think him and Kyler Murray are their future. But this year, again, in a stacked NFC conference, and that they have to play a lot of teams from the NFC conference, I have going 3-13, 1-5 in the NFC West division.
Yeah, for the Cardinals, I have them as well, bottom of the division, going 5-11 with a divisional record of 1-5. I really do like the wide receiver core. It's really young. They have Christian Kirk, players like Keyshawn Johnson, Keem Butler. They do have the veteran Larry Fitzgerald, but other than that, they have a decent wide receiver core to build, help Kyler Murray and all that. Backfield, like you said, David Johnson, he will be a pretty good back, above average.
He puts up good fantasy points.
Exactly. Well, that doesn't really. Yeah. That O-line, though. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not
good.
And the defense really concerns me too with
for real.
with Arizona.
Mhm.
It's not good at all.
I mean, they do have the pieces for the future. They just have to keep building on their drafts, get that defensive side going, get that O-line stronger. And if, like, in 5 years, they're going to be a really good team.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is a hot take, but my number 3 team in this division is the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm.
Now that Doug Baldwin, I believe he retired, or he's out of Seattle now.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is a great quarterback, don't get me wrong, but he just has nobody to throw to now besides Tyler Lockett.
True.
They do have Chris Carson and Rashad Penny in the backfield. I like that 1-2 punch, but I really don't see the Seahawks being a wildcard team like they were last year. Without Doug Baldwin, his number one receiver now is Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's not bad, but he's not, Julio Jones. You know what I mean? Like he's a speedster. Usually, your number one receiver, you want to be, big like a Hopkins or a Julio.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about Seattle. I think their defense is going to be good still, but losing Earl Thomas doesn't help. They did pick up Frank Clark, I believe, or maybe they lost Frank Clark.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure he got
I
traded,
think,
right? No, he went to the
Chiefs,
Chiefs, right?
City,
Yeah.
That might be right.
He
Yeah,
went
so
to
they
the
lost
Chiefs.
Frank Clark too. So that's not good. The Seahawks lost a lot of defensive pieces, but their defense always seems to be good. With the 12th man backing them. But I have Seattle going 7-9 in
Division.
and third in the NFC West. Yeah.
That I could see how they could drop if things like that's the floor. I have them as the floor going 3. For them though, I realistically have them going 8-8 with a divisional record of 3. They're a really 500 team.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Russell
Wilson. Russell Wilson. Thank you. He's not bad. He is an elite
I think
quarterback.
he's highest paid right now in the league, I believe.
Mm-hmm. But like you said, their wide receivers, besides Tyler Lockett, there's really nothing there for him. Besides, you could make an argument how David Moore could be a good wide receiver. Other than that, really not really. He's more seen as kind of average wide receiver too. Yeah. DK Metcalf, he got injured.
Yeah.
He's going to be out.
Yeah, he's gonna be out for a little bit, and he's not good catching the ball.
No,
he's a physical freak. He's scary running down the field, to be a corner, but he has bad hands.
Yeah.
That's why he fell so far in the draft.
Besides, like their wide receivers, the
running
running back core, very solid. People like Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, they put up the most rushing yards, I believe, in the whole NFL because also that O-line is really good.
Yeah, true.
But now here's the thing: the defense. If you haven't heard, they traded for Jadeveon Clowney, the former number one overall pick, and they didn't give up anything. No
That's
O
true.
linemen, nothing really. Just a couple of really not
Late round picks.
not known linebackers. I can't really remember the names, but nothing really came out of the Eagles' pockets.
Or Texans pockets.
Nothing came out of the pockets of the
sorry,
Seahawks.
there were a lot of trades going on. We're trying to
Yeah.
get everything straight. Yeah, that's true. They got Jadeveon Clowney now on their D-line. Like I said, their defense is always good, but I just worry about their receiving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my second team in this division, this is my hottest take for the year, is the San Francisco 49ers are going to go 10-6.
Wow.
I don't have them in the playoffs, though, again, with the Cowboys. I don't even know how that worked out. But 10-6 for the 49ers. Here's why. I'm going to read you a list of their playmakers. Defense, they got Dee Ford, Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Solomon Thomas, Quan Alexander, and don't forget Richard Sherman. That's just on defense, folks. That's a scary defense. And this team should have been good last year. It's just that Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt week 1. And then their offense, they've got Jimmy Garoppolo, they've got Marquise Goodwin, they've got Jordan Matthews, Dante Pettis, who they drafted. They've got Jalen Hurd, George Kittle, probably the 3rd or 4th best tight end in the game. Matt Breida, Jerick Cohen, and Tevin Coleman give them 3 solid running backs out of the backfield.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, with the 49ers, I don't see them really going 10-6. I have them going 6-10 actually, so it's kind of reversed from what you said with the divisional record of 3-3. Jimmy Garoppolo coming off a horrific injury, honestly, 22. That's tough. And for a quarterback, that's definitely more harder to get back into shape that you were. But if he could get back to how he was and what they paid him to be or what they expect him, he's going to be a crazy good quarterback. Their wide receivers, they have Deebo Samuel, they drafted him. They have
I forgot about. I didn't even mention him. Jordan Matthews. They got Dante Pettis. They got Jalen Hurd. They have 4. Yeah, Marquise Goodwin. That's 5 good receivers right there. Yeah. I'm so high on this offense. I'm so excited to watch the 49ers.
And their defense, like you said, Richard Sherman, he should be back to how he was, honestly.
Nick Bosa. They got Bosa. They weren't even that bad this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be crazy.
It's going to be a crazy good team if that thing goes right for them. So, yeah.
And then, obviously, I think we're both pretty unanimous on
Yeah.
this one. The Rams are going to win this division. I have them going 11-5. Last year they shouldn't have gone as far as they went. Obviously with the pass interference and on
That was
call.
terrible.
But the Rams are still loaded though. Their defense is crazy good.
Yeah.
Their offense is crazy good. And now they'll get Cooper Kupp back, so they'll have that extra receiver in there. Todd Gurley. Jared Goff, he's not great, but I think with the weapons around him, they make him good. They make him better than he should be. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a great quarterback, but I think with the weapons that they have, he's good enough for them.
Yeah, for the Rams, I have the number 1 seed in the whole NFC. The only reason why they passed the Cowboys, because the Cowboys also have them going 14-2, Rams also 14-2.
Tiebreaker.
Yeah, tiebreaker. I think in the previous season, or like in the regular season, I have the Rams beating the Cowboys, so that's why they're going to be the number 1 seed. Like you said, the Rams, they shouldn't have made it to the Super Bowl because of a blown call in the NFC Championship.
But let me put it this way, though. The Rams hung with the Saints in that game regardless of what happened. The Rams put up a good fight in that game. I don't think they should have won, but it just showed that those are the two teams that I think it's going to be between this year, and the Packers. I had them in there too, but I really think the Rams have a better roster, I think, than the Saints. But the Saints play better together. But those two teams, I think, are the best in the NFC. I think on paper.
And to be honest, they definitely did get screwed out of that call. But even if that call went their way, you don't know. They could have settled for 3, and they had a little bit more time. They could have driven down the field, and they had overtime. And
this is true.
I mean, there's a lot of ands, and the Saints had the ball first, if I think correctly, right?
Yeah,
they had the ball
I
first.
think it was
it's
their
not
first
like
drive.
they were completely screwed out of that game. They had a lot more
That's true.
chances, the Saints, to completely just forget about it and go back, drive down the field, score, and make it to Super Bowl.
And like I said, the Rams hung with them that game. Though.
Exactly.
They put up a good fight regardless.
Now, enough with the Saints and all about that game. Let's talk about this year. They look good. They really do look good.
Yeah, they got Clay Matthews now.
Exactly, yeah.
He gives them that linebacker piece that they were really lacking last year, I think.
Yeah. Now, I will say it's going to really heavily revolve around Todd Gurley and his health.
And Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Those two.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the wide receiver core and
they have good
Rams.
depth.
Yeah, they really do. They have Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, those guys.
Yeah, those three are really good.
It's really good for Goff to have those three, and that's why I have them going 14-2, 5-1 divisional record, and number 1 in the whole NFC.
Okay, so those are our NFC predictions, and then so let's move into the AFC, and then we'll get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So in the AFC, let's start in the AFC North. At the very bottom, we have, I think we probably both have the Bengals here.
Yeah.
I have them at 3-13, 1-5 in the division. The thing with the Bengals is that this last year was just another year of so many injuries for them. Andy Dalton, AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, Tyler Boyd. Everybody seems to just get hurt for the Bengals. But I think the light at the end of the tunnel is that they have a reliable running back now, and Joe Mixon, who's going to be really good. AJ Green is a really, really, really good receiver when he's healthy. And Tyler Boyd is also a really good receiver, as a number 2 especially.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, he's not great. And the Bengals defense is also, I feel like, really going to struggle now that they don't even have Vontaze Burfict anymore. He's in Oakland. So I think the defense is what really scares me out of picking the Bengals to be better. The offense is good. It's just Andy Dalton is just holding them back, I feel like.
All right, so with the Bengals, I have them going 5-11, 2-4 divisional play. Yeah, they have really no good quarterback. Andy Dalton, just not good.
Jeff Driscoll's their backup too. He had to step in all year last year. Really rough year.
Yikes. I will say, I really do like Joe Mixon. I think he'll have a really solid year.
And they also just signed Giovanni Bernard, so that's a pretty good 1-2 punch out of the backfield, I feel like.
AJ Green, he's injured. I think he'll be back. I think the best case scenario, he's going to be back week 4, but nothing really.
Yeah, I think they said
no best case scenarios really happen. I'd say maybe at best could come back week 6 or 7, but in that time frame, you're going to have Tyler Boyd really going to be wide receiver 1 in that time period while AJ recovers. Other than that, defense not good.
Like I said, losing Vontaze Burfict didn't help.
Yeah, and playing in a really, really tough. What'd you say?
AFC North.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Bengals year now.
Yeah, not at all. My third place team in the AFC North was the Baltimore Ravens. I have them going 9-7 and actually missing the playoffs. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback, but he needs to work on his throwing. And now they have Mark Ingram, and those two provide a really good rushing attack, but they went out and got Hollywood Brown for a reason because they didn't have any good receivers last year. They still have Willie Snead, but other than that, really no good number one receiver. Again, another team that really doesn't have another number one wide receiver. Their defense is really scary, but I feel like when you play the Ravens defensively, all you have to do is you have to have an 8-man box, and then you have 2 corners and 1 safety playing against them. Because if you have an 8-man box, you completely eliminate the run game. You make the Ravens throw the ball, and that's where they don't have success. So if Lamar Jackson improves on his throwing, I think this is going to be a scary offense. Mm-hmm. The defense is already really scary. They lost a lot of pieces this offseason, but they did get Earl Thomas as their safety, so that's going to be really good defense still. People were thinking that they were maybe declining whenever they lost other pieces, but losing C.J. Mosley didn't help. He was like the biggest one. Yeah. But then getting Earl Thomas kind of brought them back to the top. I feel like defensively they're one of the better defenses in the league. I have them going 9-7 and third place.
Yeah, I also have the Ravens in third. I have them going. I have them going 10-6 with a divisional record of 4-2. Yeah, as like you said, Lamar Jackson, he really wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad. Yeah, but here's another thing. Sorry to interrupt, but I think the NFL just wasn't ready for a Lamar Jackson last year, and that's why he had so much success, because he's kind of like Michael Vick, but Michael Vick was, I think, better at throwing, and Lamar's better at running than Vick, so there's a little mix, but they weren't ready for a running quarterback of his caliber. Like, it's kind of like Colin Kaepernick. Like, he kind of took the league by surprise in that one year where he took him to the Super Bowl. He kind of surprised everyone. I feel like that's what happened last year, but now there's a lot on film of the Ravens. I feel like teams can really clamp down on their running and make them throw the ball. So if Lamar can throw the ball, the offense is going to be really scary.
Like you said, Lamar Jackson, you basically just said what I was going to say. He definitely is one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the league, but his just throwing ability is not good.
He throws a lot of wobbles.
Yeah, it's basically wobbles or underthrown. So
they're going to put up good rushing yards. I'll say that. If you're looking for a fantasy quarterback, I do think Lamar's your guy just because he gives you really good rushing yards, and quarterbacks get a lot of points for rushing yards instead of passing yards. That is. So I think he's really good. He's a really good quarterback to have in fantasy.
No, I didn't think I had mentioned this, but I do also have them missing out on the playoffs. So
what was your record? You had them 10-6.
Yeah.
Okay, so another 10-6 team that misses the playoffs.
Third place. I will say Marquise Brown, cousin of Antonio?
Yeah, Antonio Brown. Yeah.
He's going to be.
The thing about Hollywood Brown is that I don't think they're playing him in the slot, which they need to be doing because he's tiny and he's a speedster, which is usually what you would put in the slot. But I think they're playing him on Z or X, which isn't smart at all. But we'll see how that works out for them.
You also have Willie Snead. I don't know.
He's solid.
He's all right. I will say Mark Ingram, he's going to be all right, I feel.
Mark Ingram was good last year. He was just overshadowed by Alvin Kamara in New Orleans.
So it's going to depend on that. It's going to depend on that O-line. And I do think that defense will win them a lot of
and that's going to win them like 8 of the 9 games they win. I have them probably.
For real.
Okay, number 2 in the AFC North, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So, we all know the story last year. It was all this drama. They had Le'Veon Bell. He ended up holding out the entire year, which no one saw coming. Antonio Brown was not wanting to be there anymore. So now Juju Smith-Schuster steps up in Antonio Brown's old role, and James Conner is running back 1. Now, this team, there's still a lot of question marks around, because can Juju be as good as AB? Can James Conner be as good as Le'Veon Bell? Well, I'll say this. Last year, James Conner was putting up more rushing yards than Le'Veon Bell did before he got hurt, if that makes any sense. James Conner was equaling Le'Veon Bell and some because he gave them that receiving target out of the backfield, which they needed. That defense is going to be really good, too. Like I wrote in my article, they traded up in the draft for Devin Bush from Michigan, and they still have TJ Watt, and they re-signed Joe Hayden for 2 more years, I think it was. So that defense is really stacked. Cameron Hayward on the D-line. The defense is really good. I have them going 10-6 and as the second wildcard team this season.
Mm-hmm. I also have the Steelers, second place in the division. I actually have them missing the playoffs, which is, you could see how going 10-6 with a division record of 4-2. I like the Steelers, honestly.
I think they're going to be I think they're going to be better than last year now that they don't have all this drama.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're good. They're as good as the Browns
No,
yet.
mm-mm. James Conner, he's a good running back. I mean, he definitely carried the Steelers these past 2 years run game wise. I don't think anybody expected him to really break out the way he has. Wide receivers, you have Juju. I mean, really good. I just don't think he's young.
Yeah, he is.
He's
This
shown
is
he's
what, second, third year?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
he's shown that he can handle being the wide receiver one, while Antonio was like being a drama queen or whatever. We just have James Washington. He's definitely underrated.
That's what I was going to say,
Yeah.
because now with Antonio Brown gone, that means that James Washington now steps into
Yeah.
the 2 role, and they're really excited for him. He's from Oklahoma State, I believe.
Yes.
They recently got him too, so he's another young receiver. So they have a really young team, and then obviously with Ben Roethlisberger, who's been in the league forever,
Yeah.
at the helm, I think this offense is going to be better than people expect.
And as well, with Dante Moncrief, the wide receivers on the Steelers are really going to...
Pretty solid.
Yeah, for real.
Pretty solid.
And also, well, you have defense. They definitely traded up, got Devin Bush. I really liked that pick. One of the best linebackers you could have gotten in that draft coming out of Michigan. Also, really like the play of T.J. Watt.
TJ Watt's
No,
good. They put him in more of a defensive end kind of role because
Yeah.
he's supposed to be an outside linebacker, but they end up blitzing him on most of the plays, which does make sense. He's the little, what is he, cousin brother of,
yeah.
of JJ Watt. Yeah, he's really fun to watch, and I think Devin Bush is going to be too. They're really excited by him. He had a really good preseason.
Yeah.
And then Joe Hayden is also their quarterback. They also got Justin Lane, who whenever I was researching a lot of players about the draft, I was really high on Justin Lane, a corner from Michigan State. I believe they got him on day 3 of the draft, and so he's going to be their nickelback, their slot corner. I really liked him in college, and I liked him coming into the draft. I wish that the Browns would have gotten him somehow, but now he's in Pittsburgh, so he'll cover all the slot receivers in games and probably be their nickelback.
Yeah. Now, I can't remember the name of the Steelers tight end that's injured right now.
Was it Jesse James or Vance McDonald?
Vance McDonald.
I believe it was
It's Vance McDonald
Yeah.
who is injured. I don't think it's serious. He'll be back. I don't think by the beginning of the year, but maybe week 3 or week 4, so that should also help. And that's why I have them going 10-6, but I just don't think they're definitely recovering from the drama and all that.
Another player I like on the Steelers defense is Bud Dupree.
Yeah.
I believe he was
Definitely.
Kentucky. They're really hoping he has a breakout year. I think this is year 3 for him.
Yeah.
He's been a little bit of a disappointment as a linebacker, but I think they're really high on him, and they really want to see him have a breakout year.
Exactly.
So that defense is scary. I have them going 10-6, 4-2 in the division, and as the 6th seed, which is the second wild card.
Yeah.
Now, the team that everybody's hyping up, my team, the Cleveland Browns, I have them going 11-5 and 4-2 in the division, and ending up as the 2 seed in the AFC. Obviously, everyone knows that they got Odell to pair him up with Jarvis Landry. They have Nick Chubb in the backfield, and eventually we'll have Kareem Hunt in the backfield. They parted ways with Duke Johnson, sent him off to the Texans, and then obviously the swagster Baker Mayfield at quarterback.
Yeah.
But I'll say this about the Browns. The offense is going to be fun, but the defense is going to be even more fun. With the acquisitions of Olivier Vernon and Sheldon Richardson to that defensive line, I think the Browns have the best defensive line in the game. Pairing those two up with Myles Garrett, obviously. The linebackers are the position of concern, I think, on the Browns because last year Joe Schobert and Christian Kirksey both got injured, and now Steve Wilkes is coming in as the defensive coordinator, and the Browns are playing a 4-2-5 look with 5 DBs on the field, 2 safeties, and in some cases even 3 safeties because the cornerbacks, so we have 4 solid corners in Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Terrence Mitchell, and TJ Carey, and then our 3 safeties, Jermaine Whitehead, Morgan Burnett, and Demarius Randall. So the Browns have been playing a 4-2-5 look in the preseason, which has been working. They've been getting to the quarterback a lot, and this defense is going to be really awesome, even though everyone's hyping up the offense. I'm more excited about watching the Browns' defense.
Yeah. Now, I agree. I think the Browns are going to win the AFC North. And I think that with an 11-5 record, 3-3 divisional, they're going to get the 3 seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. Now, Baker Mayfield came onto the scene, won them that they won that Thursday night game,
Yeah,
against the Jets. Yeah.
Everything changed, guys. Everything changed.
Everything changed. And, I mean, I didn't think they could have gotten any better, like, their situation I'm talking about, but whenever they got Odell, wow. I mean, it's pretty good what's going on in Cleveland right now. And when also you have Jarvis Landry to pair up with Odell, and you also have Antonio Callaway.
He's suspended, though.
Is he?
And yes,
Oh,
he's
wow.
suspended the first 4 games, so Rashard Higgins is going to be our receiver 3, which is actually really good because that means we can move Jarvis Landry back to the slot, which last year he had to play a lot of X and Z receiver, which are the two ones on the sideline on the opposite sides. But that's not his natural position. He's more of a slot, and then you put Odell at the Z, and then Rashard Higgins at the X, and then you have a pretty scary receiving core, I'd say. And then David Njoku at the tight end. We can't forget him, too.
Mm-hmm.
He's an up-and-coming tight end in the league.
Now, with the running backs, very good one, too, with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that'll be week 10, I believe, that
when he comes
back. Yeah.
Okay, well then, in the meantime, Nick Chubb's going to be that
the running
Nick
back.
Chubb's going to be running back 1, and I guess Joe Carriage would be
Yeah. Well, Joe Carriage is fullback, and I think he's hurt too. So it will be Dontrell Hilliard as a running back. He's more of the speedster. Nick Chubb's more like the Saquon kind of beast guy. So they have a scary back. They have a really scary offense. And I'll just say the defense is even scarier than the offense. They're going to get a lot of sacks. They're going to generate a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
All right. So I have the Browns as the 2 seed. In the AFC, winning the AFC North at 11-5, 4-2 in the division. Let's move into the AFC South. So now a lot of news coming out of the AFC South in the past couple weeks now with both Andrew Luck retiring, Lamar Miller tearing his ACL, Jadeveon Clowney out. This division is going through all kinds of stuff. So my last place team, I actually had to update these standings after the Andrew Luck news, is, unfortunately for Indianapolis, the Colts at 5-11, going 1-5. No, I think whenever Andrew Luck retired, it was so disappointing for them because they really had Super Bowl aspirations. This was going to be a loaded team. You know, Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, the 2 tight ends are really solid. Then you have T.Y. Hilton as the receiver. You have Marlon Mack in the backfield. This offense was going to be so good, and then the defense is even better than the offense. Yeah. Like, the defense is loads ahead of the offense. This team has Super Bowl aspirations, and now I really like Jacoby Brissett. I feel like he's one of he's probably a top 3 backup quarterback in the league. Yeah. And now they signed Brian Hoyer. He's also a good backup. So they actually have 2 decent quarterbacks now there. I like Jacoby Brissett. He had to step in for Luck like the whole year a couple years ago, and I think they went 6-10. Yeah. So I think they probably have like a 7-9 ceiling, 4-12 floor kind of thing. Yeah. I like Brissett, but I mean, honestly, he's not Andrew Luck.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Colts fans. You know. I drafted Andrew Luck because I predicted him to win MVP this year, and I also, before this happened, I had them winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they were going to be really good.
I mean, who's the GM there? General manager for the Colts? I mean, who knows, but he did one hell of a job completing that rebuild. He did what they needed to do.
Darius Leonard, they found him, second, third round? Yeah. He could have won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. Really good player.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just sad what happened to them. But
you have them last place?
I do have them last place. Okay. I forgot to talk about what their record. So I have them going 5-11, divisional record of 1-5. Yeah. So I mean, Jacoby Brissett, he isn't bad.
He's not bad.
He's not good.
He's not
good.
But I mean, he's probably better than like Andy Dalton. Honestly, he's probably better than a few of the quarterbacks in the league.
I do like their 1-2 punch and Marlon Mack and Jaime Hines. Whatever
I think it's Naheem or something. Yeah, I do like him too. I think he was hurt last year, but yeah, he's gonna be good. He's a speedster. He's a little guy, and then Marlon Mack is the kind of beast, like Saquon kind of player that they need out of the backfield. And that O-line, I think the O-line
for sure.
We can't forget about the O-line. You know, Quentin Nelson, that crazy good O-line, I think is what got them to the playoffs last year. As crazy as that sounds, but I mean, Luck wouldn't have been the comeback player of the year last year. He wouldn't have won. What was it? 8 of the last 9 games of the year. They started 1-5 and ended up 10-6, or 9 out of the last 10 games. Yeah, they won. They wouldn't have done that without the O-line. The O-line is, you can see how good they are with Quentin Nelson running down the field blocking people. I think that O-line, honestly, I think is going to win them 3-4 games this year. The O-line's so good. But honestly, I was kind of heartbreaking for Colts fans because I know a few Colts fans whenever that happened because they really had Super Bowl aspirations. But now they're going to a rebuild. I mean, honestly, if they tank this year, they could get Tua. So
that would be pretty good.
Or maybe, a couple years Trevor Lawrence. That's what the Dolphins are doing. Yeah. They're taking it for Tua.
Also, I did like the Deontay Foreman signing, but he got injured. True. So, whoops. That's tough. Wide receivers, not bad either. T.Y. Hilton, Devin Funchess, people like that.
Yeah, Devin Funchess they got from Carolina this offseason. Devin Funchess is a speedster. He was like a late-round draft pick Carolina picked, and he ended up being a pretty good receiver, so now they got him. The Panthers just didn't need him anymore. They got DJ Moore, so they just had a surplus, I think.
their defense again really not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
It's not bad. It's just that quarterback situation, and it's just what would you say, the impact of the retiring of Andrew Luck that's going to cause it.
It's just a weight on the back of their shoulders.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like, I mean, we don't even have our quarterback. Why play? But I think it's just going to weigh on them the whole year.
Yeah.
And even though they do have a solid quarterback, they might even make a wild card push. This
that's
team,
best case scenario.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win the division anymore.
No.
I had them like at 11-5 before this happened, but it's just a blow. Like, you can't even really imagine like being in the situation of like, I don't know, say T.Y. Hilton, like one of his best friends, and then he just retires. Like, so they're not going to put up the kind of stats they did last year in the record.
I'd also like to point out, I feel bad for Andrew Luck because he did not deserve the fans booing.
Yeah, I know.
He's one of the nicest guys in the league.
He is.
And to see him just break down and ball during like his press conference, it hit me hard, dude. As a Texans fan, I feel bad.
It did, and the thing about Andrew Luck was whenever that news first happened, it was like during the Miami Florida game, the opening game in college football. Everyone was like, "What?" But if you think about, I know. But if you think about it, it kind of makes sense though, because this guy came into the league. What was it, 2014 or 2015 maybe?
No, it was 2014 probably.
Okay, or I think it might have been 15 or maybe 13. I don't know. It was one of those years, and every single year, this guy has had injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's had a lot of season-ending injuries, and I get that he was only 29, but at some point these injuries just weigh on people. And we've seen this in the NFL before, where a guy retires early, and this is why, because Jim Brown. It's such a tough sport that sometimes you have to retire early. That's why it's so crazy what Tom Brady's doing, playing at 42 years old.
It's that diet boy. It's crazy.
The fact that he stayed healthy for 16. Or no, I think this will be his 18th year in the league.
What is he, like 42?
He's 42. I think he said what was it, 45, something like that. So he's going to play till 45. That is unheard of in the National Football League, guys, because it is such a hard sport to play.
We may never see that again.
Yeah. Oh, definitely never again. 6 Super Bowls in less than 20 years.
That's what happens whenever you have the best coach and best quarterback.
Best quarterback coach tandem of all time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So anyway, my third team in the AFC South was the Tennessee Titans. This is a team I like, but I'm not super high on. Marcus Mariota is a solid quarterback, but I don't really see anything.
He's not consistent.
And he got hurt last year too, I believe. Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis are really good 1-2 punch. I think that's one of the better backfields in the league, because Derrick Henry's, again, more of the Saquon player like we were talking about with the Browns.
Yeah.
And then Dion Lewis is their pass-catching back because Derrick Henry's weak in that area. I like the Tennessee defense, but it needs massive improvement this offseason. Mariota's good. The O-line is pretty good, except they have Taylor Lewan suspended. So week 1, whenever they play the Browns, the Browns D-line is going to eat up Mariota. So if I was the Titans, I'd just be hoping for that game that Mariota gets out alive.
Yeah.
Because having all those O-line suspensions and injuries are going to really weigh on them. And their O-line's not bad either. So whenever they get those guys back, I think they'll win 7 or 8 games maybe.
Yeah, for the Titans, I also have them third in the division, going 7-9 with a 3-3 divisional record. The thing is, Mariota, like I said, he's just not consistent.
Yeah,
he is. He's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's the consistent quarterback that can lead him to the playoffs. I mean, he did. What was it, 2018, 2017? But in that. That was a good year.
It was a couple years ago where they had to face the Patriots. I think didn't they win the AFC South too?
No, I think they were.
I don't know. I thought they were the 4th seed, then they won a home playoff game and had to face New England.
No, that was the year that Jacksonville almost made it to the Super Bowl. But other than that, I do like Derrick Henry, Dion Lewis. That 1-2 punch. Those are two very good power backs that are just run through D lines and all that. Wide receivers, Corey Davis, Humphreys, there's Jennings, not Jenkins, it's Jennings. I like those 3. I will say, I think the Titans have one of the most underrated defenses in the whole entire NFL.
Yeah, actually last year this year they were projected like a high fantasy rate for a defense, one of the higher in the league.
They have a really good cornerback tandem and whatever. Not AJ Boye, but Hakeem Butler, is it?
Yeah, that's right. They do have Hakeem Butler. They do have a good secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That defense is good, but
I just worry about it. It's not good enough. I don't think to defend the Texans.
Even their ceiling, I don't have them going to the playoffs. It's
I
just
don't
not
think
their
so.
year.
I don't think so. So my second team in the AFC South was the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is probably my third favorite sleeper team.
Yeah.
My second I'll get to in a minute. My number one is definitely the 49ers, but my third is probably the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's mostly revolved around Nick Foles. I really like Nick Foles. He, everyone knows what he did a couple years ago, winning the Super Bowl for the Eagles. And then last year, he could have won that one playoff game, but what was it? Nelson Aguilar or Alshon Jeffrey, one of them, had the ball go through his hands in the second round of the playoffs, which would have put them into the NFC Championship if they had won it. But I like the Jaguars this year with now Nick Foles. They have Marquise Lee, Dede Westbrook, DJ Clark, and Terrell Pryor as their 4 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dede Westbrook, I think, is going to have a breakout year. I think he was hurt last year because he didn't put up, big points, fantasy points last year. But I think he's back from injury this year. And then Marquise Lee, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch for wide receivers. And then Leonard Fournette, obviously, out of the backfield, is good if he can stay healthy. Another player.
I think he's injured as of late right now.
Is he?
I think
he keeps getting injured.
Yeah.
He's got to stay healthy for Jacksonville because he's so far out of their success. And their defense is good. Their defense is really good.
Mm-hmm. I will say Jaguars. I have them second division going 8-8 with a 4-2 record. They do miss the playoffs. I mean, I like this team. As a Texan fan, I hate them.
Well,
I like them.
I like them, but I'm not super high on them.
Nick Foles was a good signing. I'm scared because they call him Big Dick Nick because he's really really good at what he does. But
he is very good.
Yeah.
Saint Nick.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a cleaner version.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette, honestly, if he can stay healthy, I'm not going to lie, I can see this team being a solid wild card, could very well make it far. Wide receivers, Dede Westbrook, Marquise Lee, those two.
Terrell Pryor, he gives them size.
Yeah,
I like that move.
That's going to be good for Nick Foles. And that defense, I will say, the front seven isn't that good.
No, I do think so. So I was just looking at their depth chart. They signed Marcel Darius. I believe he came from Buffalo. They got Calais Campbell.
Oh.
They got Miles Jack, who I believe Field Yates said he's never missed a snap or something.
Really?
He has some crazy stats. And then obviously they have AJ Boye and Jalen Ramsey as the best cornerback tandem in the league. I like this defense. I don't know about the linebackers. Other than Miles Jack, they have Quincy Williams and Leon Jacobs. Ooh. That kind of worries me. They got Jake Ryan. I believe he was from Minnesota in the draft. I like him. They call him the dinosaur arm because he has short arms, so it's hard for him to really make plays. He is explosive though. That's what I liked about him. And then obviously they drafted Josh Allen, but he's listed second on their depth chart right now, which is kind of odd. They have him behind Yannick Ngakoue. I'm not sure how to say his name. I'm not sure how to say his name, but they have Josh Allen as second on the depth chart for defensive end. But I think if he plays how he did in college, that defensive line is going to be really scary.
I will say about the Jaguars, they start off playing the Chiefs, so that's pretty much a loss.
Yeah.
But other than that, they really don't have.
I thought they did.
They don't have that tough of a schedule. They do play the Chiefs. They play the Saints.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not bad. They play Falcons, Chargers as well. It's just those are toss-up games.
Yeah.
That they're gonna have to really fight for, and if they can, I really see a ceiling of them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they could. We're gonna get to my other sleeper team in a minute, but so let's just hit the Texans. We both have winning the AFC South. Now that before Andrew Luck retired, I did have the Texans making the playoffs.
Same here. I just didn't have them winning the South.
But I think they're going to win the South now because they have Deshaun Watson. I think they finally have an O-line. They just picked up Laramie Tunsil. They gave up a lot for Laramie Tunsil.
I know, but it's a win now.
They drafted Titus Howard at, 16th overall, 15th overall in the draft, one of the two.
Who?
From Titus Howard from Alabama State.
And it was in 20s.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I think you're right. And then they picked up Darren Fellows, tight end. From the Browns, he's probably their first tight end now because Griffin's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ryan Griffin, he's gone, I believe. And then obviously they have DeAndre Hopkins, best receiver in the game. We agree on that. Kiki Kuti and Will Fuller are both back from injury. I like that, and I really like the Kenny Stills move because he gives them some good depth.
Same here. I will say, Texans, I have them winning the division, 4 seed, 10-6 with 4-2 divisional play.
Okay.
I love this team, not because I'm a Texans fan. They're really solid all around, except that O-line. That's the one thing.
And looking at the depth chart, the right side of the O-line I think is still a concern, but left side is more important since Watson's a righty.
Yes.
So they got the left side figured out, which is good. Whenever they run the ball, Duke Johnson, Carlos Hyde, which is just saying a really good 1-2
Yeah.
punch. Actually, I believe they traded Carlos Hyde. This is not updated.
Is it?
Or maybe,
No, they do have
or
Carlos
did they
Hyde.
just pick up Carlos
They just
Hyde?
picked him up.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because that's right. Duke Johnson last year was backing up Carlos Hyde with
Yeah.
the Browns week 1.
Yeah.
And he got mad about that, and now he's backing up Carlos Hyde again.
Yeah.
So he's just
I like
all
that.
messed
I
up.
like that.
But yeah, so if they run the ball, they just need to run it left, basically, is what we're saying here.
But I mean, they gotta be careful. They might just defenses might see that and they're just gonna blitz that side
This is
a
true.
lot.
This is true.
Tough about Lamar Miller.
Yeah,
he was a Pro Bowler last year,
Yeah,
but now he's not gonna be able to play. Now it's Duke Johnson's time to step
Duke
into
Johnson,
that
baby.
role.
He finally gets to play a little bit.
Yes, go.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say their wide receivers are one of the best core in the NFL, and
This is
whenever
true.
you have DeAndre Hopkins, I think he's the best wide receiver.
Oh, I
Whenever
agree.
you don't-
I agree.
Whenever
I
you
agree.
don't drop any passes and you're thrown to 100 times, you don't drop a single one of those passes. You have to be the best wide receiver in the
Yeah,
game.
he is.
And
Julio's a close second, though.
Yeah. Will Fuller, one of the best wide receiver twos in the whole league. He got injured. He was putting up really good yards against teams that you would think would clamp him down and wouldn't get much yardage and all that. But he definitely proved that he could play well against these tough teams. And then you also have Kiki Cutie, and I'm a huge fan of the Kenny Stills move. I get that people think the Texans were fleeced by the Dolphins.
I think they were, though. They
I know.
gave him 2 firsts.
But think about it. Their window.
They
of
didn't. They
their-
needed an O-line that
Yes,
bad, though.
yes.
To be fair,
Their
they
O-line-
really did.
Oh boy. Oof.
It was scary last year watching them because you thought Watson was gonna die.
Yeah.
He was running around
Sacked
every
the most.
play. I just want to touch on their defense real fast.
Yeah, you can.
So whenever I watched the Texans this last year, the thing I was always confused about was why they play a 3-4. This team should be playing a 4-3.
Mhm.
Here's why: their defensive line, obviously, they have J.J. Watt. They no longer have David Clowney.
They have Whitney
So-
Merciless, yeah.
They have Whitney Merciless, but he's an outside linebacker. If they
Yeah.
move him to DN, then they could have DJ Reader and Angelo Blackson coming off or coming down the middle, and then they drafted
Fulton, yeah.
Charles Omenihu, so they have
I
him
love that.
backing up
Man,
Watt
I love him.
and then Angelo Blackson. And then they have 4 linebackers now starting. It would be Brennan Scarlett, Zach Cunningham, Bernardrick McKinney, I believe is how you say it. And then Whitney
Bernardrick
Merciless.
McKinney, yeah.
And then picking up Barkevius Mingo, the old Browns draft pick. He's probably gonna just back up all those guys. And I'm pretty high on the Texans secondary. Jonathan Joseph's really good corner. Bradley Roby, he was injured last year, right? He's back.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't heard his name much. I think, or they might have picked him up in the offseason. I thought he was in Denver. And they got Deshaun Gibson. He had a strong year last year. And then
Mhm.
Justin Reed's an up-and-coming safety in the league, too.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. We can't underestimate him.
But back to the trade about Stills and Tunsil. You're saying how they got fleeced. I mean, yeah, the picks hurt, but think about it.
I understand it,
Their
though.
window of contending is obviously now.
Yeah.
And to think that let's hypothesize or whatever. Let's just think about it for a second. Now, let's say the Texans managed to really show that this trade was good. Bill O'Brien's going to be seen as a hero. Yay. But now, let's say that the Texans completely fall apart. I think this is Bill's
Yeah.
last year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I did
He's gonna be out
not
the
like
door.
him. That trade for, what's it called? The linebackers for the Seahawks?
Yeah,
I mean,
the Clowney trade, they got
that was
fleeced in.
terrible.
And the thing about the Texans right now is they got to get a GM. That's
Yeah.
has to be first
Yeah.
priority for their owner. I don't even know who it is, but it needs to be first priority. They need to get
Yeah.
a GM because Bill O'Brien cannot be the GM and the coach. A lot of people think he should be fired from being the coach, and now he's the GM too right now. So
It's terrible.
That's a mess. But the team is pretty good. It's just the front office kind of a mess right now.
And again, I get oh man, Clowney is one of the best rushers and all that defensive players in the game, but he also had 1 year left, and he's going to want to be paid. And
Sure.
to be fair, the Texans are kind of smart for letting them walk because now they are going to have a lot of money to sign some of these O linemen next free agent class, and that's going to be a compensation for these draft picks being lost. So it's not entirely bad, but it definitely hurts getting rid of those picks.
Okay, so let's move into the AFC East now.
Yep.
This is,
Yikes.
poor everyone else in this division, but let's just knock this division out real fast because I think it's pretty easy. The bottom, you have the Dolphins too, right? I have the Dolphins in the last place. I have them going 3-13, 2-4 in the AFC East. The Dolphins now, they picked up Rosen, but they said they're starting Ryan Fitzpatrick week 1, and Fitzpatrick's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a good backup. I don't know about him starting the year. That kind of makes me nervous. But the Dolphins, like I said earlier, they are just in full tank mode like the Giants. They're taking for Tua or Trevor Lawrence, maybe both, just to see which one falls in their lap. This team is in full tank mode. They just traded Kiko Alonso. They traded Kenny Stills. They basically traded everyone good they have, except Minkah Fitzpatrick, who I think is their future.
Yeah,
I think he plays corner or safety. He's a DB, but he's their future. They basically traded everybody else. They don't really have any playmakers now. Traded Tunsil. He was their best lineman. Yes. So this team is in full tank mode. I still do have them winning 3 games because they play an easy schedule, playing the Jets and Buffalo in the AFC East, and then obviously New England. But playing the Jets and the Bills, they'll get 2 wins, and then I think I had them being New England at home, since they always do, as the other win.
Yeah. Okay. So the last team in the whole AFC, I have the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
They're going to be in tank mode. I have them going 3-13 with a divisional record of 0-6.
0-6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not good for them. Just Ryan Fitzpatrick, again, I mean, he had that couple games last year.
Yeah,
for the,
it's just magic.
They went crazy, dude.
They did.
I definitely like Kenyon Drake. He's definitely a solid running back.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
I think they're just using him to bridge them over to the future.
Yeah.
He'll probably be the running back for the next couple years, but he's not going to be there, 5 years from now. But he'll probably just get there until they get somebody else.
Now, with the Dolphins, wide receiver 1 is Devontae Parker. He would be wide receiver 2 in most teams.
And I think don't they have Albert Wilson? He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Albert Wilson.
Yeah. Their defense, Minkah Fitzpatrick, like you said, he's going to be their defensive player for the future. And
they're building around him.
Yeah, that Tunsil trade definitely shows that they're definitely going to be.
They're trading everybody with a name on that team, and then they got Rosen for basically nothing. So it kind of makes sense.
I see this team really being that future team that could really step up after Tom Brady retires and the Patriots kind of start to decay from their dynasty.
True.
So I see the Dolphins really being a top team in a couple, 3-5 years, whatever. So that's my take on the Dolphins this year.
Okay, so my number 3 team in the AFC East is the Buffalo Bills. I have them going 6-10 on the year, and here's why. So I really liked Josh Allen last year. I didn't think that coming out of Wyoming, playing the FCS, he was going to be anything. I didn't think he was the next Carson Wentz like some people did, but he actually put up a pretty good year last year. He showed he had a running ability that I didn't really see from him in college. The thing I worry about with the Bills is their receiving core. So their receiver 1 is going to be John Brown, who they acquired from the Ravens this offseason, who played for the Ravens last year. And then they picked up Cole Beasley, which I like that move for a couple different reasons, to slide him in the slot. But then besides that, they don't really have a third receiver. Isaiah Avery and Andre Roberts they have. Yeah. But besides that, I kind of worry about the Bills' offense succeeding. Josh Allen put up some good numbers last year for what he was working with, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. And then the defense is solid, but again, I don't really see much from this team. They're definitely going to be better than the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I like that they picked up Frank Gore. He gives them that veteran presence, and then Devin Singletary they got in the draft, so Gore is going to mentor him for a couple years. TJ Yeldon's back from injury. He played for the Jaguars last year. They got him, but he's been a disappointment. I feel like he was good at Alabama.
Yeah,
he was good.
I agree.
This team is, again, I feel like kind of rebuilding. They're not in tank mode though. They're on the uprise, but they're still not good enough.
I agree with that. Now I also have them 3rd in the division. I have them going 7-9 with a 3-3 record. I just don't see them making the playoffs. They really don't have a primary running back that will take them far, and I say that as well with wide receivers. I don't have them with a wide receiver 1 that's really good. I really like Josh Rosen. He definitely is. People don't think how he's a good running quarterback. He's definitely able to get some running yards, but other than that, the team doesn't have much depth, wide receiver and running back.
Yeah.
But
I was just gonna say they rebuilt the offensive line a little bit in the draft. I like them picking up Cody Ford because they did struggle last year, and then they got the tight end Tyler Kroft from the Bengals. I like him because he was kind of overshadowed by Tyler Eifert. He stepped into that role nicely. It says Zay Jones on their depth chart, except I'm pretty sure they released him, so this might not be updated yet. And then their defense, they drafted Ed Oliver from Houston. I really like that move. I'm really high on him. Tremaine Edmonds as their main linebacker. I really like him. He's pretty underrated. Lorenzo Alexander, another underrated player. I really like Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde as the two safeties. That's a pretty good two safety look there that they play. And then they got Steven Hauschka as their kicker now. So they have a pretty good, pretty solid kicker now, I think. Moving on to the second team in the AFC East now, I have the New York Jets at 7-9. This is a team that I'm pretty high on this year. I really like. Obviously, they got Le'Veon Bell. I like some of their offseason moves that they did. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a pretty breakout year this year. I like Robbie Anderson. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league.
I agree.
Let's see. They got Ryan Khalil. I like him. Jamison Crowder they got from the Redskins, I believe he played for last year at wide receiver. So they have a pretty good core with him and Robbie Anderson. Defensively, they got C.J. Mosley. That was the most notable move. They have Leonard Williams. I believe he was hurt last year, a couple years ago. So they're really waiting for him to break out. Obviously, Jamal Adams is the face of that franchise. Well, it was until they got Le'Veon Bell. So I really like the Jets this year. I think their ceiling is probably a 9-7, maybe not 10-6. I think they have probably maybe a 6-10 floor just because of New England.
Well, let me break it to you, Justin. I, as well as what you said, have them second division, but they're the 6th seed.
They're in the wild card. Okay,
yes,
okay.
Going 10-6 with a 3-3 record
in the division.
Division.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry,
I see you.
Quinnen Williams.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about him.
People don't understand.
I love that guy. I love that guy. He's so funny.
He blesses himself.
He blesses himself. That's true. I forgot to list him. He's really good.
Kid, man.
Yeah,
he's going to be a monster for this team. And the Le'Veon Bell trade, or not? I'm sorry, Le'Veon Bell signing
acquisition.
Yeah. That's a good sign. But he's also going to be splitting run game.
Is he splitting the carries?
He's splitting the carries because he's going to be coming off a season where he didn't even play. So
that's probably true.
He's going to be rusty.
In the beginning, yeah.
I really like Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder. Really two underrated wide receivers that are going to be really helping a really underrated quarterback, Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. He really, I think, was the number 2 quarterback that came out of that draft.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield.
He was probably second, 1. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Allen was pretty good.
I know, but I feel like
the Jets they got their new unis now.
I do like
it's a new era, I think, for the Jets because now they got Darnold and Bell, and they're moving forward with those two.
Yeah.
And sorry, I forgot to mention Quinnen Williams. Him and Leonard Williams, the two Williams guys, they give the Jets a really good D-line, and I think they both play the right side of the D-line, so coming off the left side of the O-line, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And I think New England's going to take note of that. They're going to have to game plan around those two guys.
Now, here is strong safety on the Jets that kept a nuke in check whenever the Texans played them last season.
Jamal
Adams.
Yeah, he's good.
He is
He's
criminally underrated, and I really think he's going to show that he should not have been underrated last year, and he's going to really take this secondary to really strong places and all that.
Yeah, I really think the Jets defense, and they might have a 10-6 ceiling, maybe like a 7-9 floor, but this team is going to be better than last year. Obviously, with Le'Veon Bell, as long as everyone stays healthy, obviously. But I think the Jets are going to be good. I think they could make a wild card push.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, the Patriots are still the best team in the AFC East. I have them as the 1 seed at 12-4. The most notable move that they made was the release of Brian Hoyer, like we mentioned before. He's in Indianapolis now. So Jarrett Stidham actually steps into that role, who I believe they picked in the 4th round from Auburn. He's a good backup to Tom Brady if anything does happen to Tom Brady. This offseason, they signed Michael Bennett.
Did they?
This offseason, they signed Michael Bennett, who played last year with the Seahawks, I believe it was. So that was a really good move.
They also
I like
signed
that.
Demaryius Thomas, but they dropped him. So.
Yeah. No, they dropped him, but then they picked him up again.
Did they?
Yeah, that was a whole cycle because
Why?
something happened with one of their other receivers, and
Weird.
I think it's probably something with Josh Gordon, honestly. But speaking of Josh Gordon,
I would not trust Josh Gordon.
He got reinstated, but
I would not trust.
He got reinstated, but no one even knows if he's going to stay healthy or not. The Patriots are the Patriots. Not really much to say here. I have them losing the Super Bowl to the Saints, but I have them going back, winning the AFC again. So. I mean, do you want to touch on them?
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. I have them being the number 2 seed, going 11-5, 6-0 divisional play, which may be kind of surprising. But I mean, come on, it's the Patriots. Tom Brady. Now, I really like the Patriots this year. I don't think many people understand how good Sony Michel and James White are as a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, that's a good.
Because everybody thinks as the Patriots, Tom Brady, they're a really heavy passing team. But I think Sony Michel is also underrated because he plays for the Patriots, where Tom Brady is seen as a god.
This is true.
But other than that, you have Julian Edelman, really good.
Gronk retired though.
I know.
That might hurt them a little bit. People are speculating whether or not he's going to come back. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if he does, though.
Like fluids in his skull, and they had to drain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty young though. Again, but I mean, with all his playoff appearances, he's probably had more games than a lot of people. He probably had more games than a lot of people. But looking at their tight end depth chart, Matt Lacoste, it says they're number one. I don't even know who that is. They got Benjamin Watson, but he's suspended, and then Lance Kendrick is also suspended. So the Patriots have a lot of suspended guys.
Also, didn't one of their old linemen get sidelined with a really pretty serious injury, and he's going to be gone for the year?
Maybe,
because I'm not sure. I remember hearing about that. It was either I think it was David Andrews that has to sit out for the whole year because he had something really devastating going on with his health.
Here's what happened with the Demaryius Thomas. So they released Demaryius Thomas because they got N'Keal Harry in the draft, but then N'Keal Harry still got
injured.
Yeah,
right?
he's missing the first half of the year, so they signed Demaryius Thomas again. So that was a whole weird cycle there that they had to put that poor kid through.
Isn't Chung questionable right now?
Yeah, I heard something was going on there, but I think that they said he'll be good to go.
Yeah, and if he is, this defense also is pretty solid. I don't see many question marks surrounding them. Maybe defensive line, some positions there.
Yeah,
other than that, it's not bad.
I mean, until Brady and Belichick are gone, this team is always going to win the AFC East and usually win the AFC.
Yeah.
So let's move into the AFC West division. I think this is going to be the most competitive division, in the AFC.
Really?
But the second most competitive division overall besides the NFC North.
Really?
Here's why.
The AFC West.
The AFC West. There's 3 teams in it that I think can win it. And I think, I think there's 2 teams in it that can win it. 3 teams in it that can make the playoffs.
Now, that's your hottest take.
Maybe. 4 teams in it I think that could even make it.
Brother.
So I have right now, I predicted the Broncos to go 5-11 in last place.
Okay.
But the Broncos, I feel like, are another one of those sleeper teams. Now that they have Joe Flacco, Case Keenum, last year it didn't really work out with them. Philip Lindsay.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, okay? They got him as an undrafted free agent. Yeah. Emmanuel Sanders is back from his injury last year because last year the biggest thing with the Broncos was they didn't have anyone to throw the ball to except Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
And then he had a little drop-off mid-season, so they basically had no one to throw the ball to. They have Jeff Howerman now and Noah Fant. They have 2 pretty good tight ends. Mm-hmm. I think Howerman's more of the run blocker and Noah Fant's more of the receiving type. I might have switched that. But I think this Broncos offense is going to be better than last year. I don't know if they're playoff caliber yet. And then obviously the defense is the strength of this roster. Oh, yeah. Obviously the D-line with who is it? What's his name? Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. And then they have Chris Harris and Kareem Jackson in the secondary.
Solid.
That's a pretty good defense. That defense is really good. I think probably second to maybe just the Bears have a better defense.
Are you kidding?
Maybe the Browns.
I don't even think they have the best defense in the AFC.
No, I think the Broncos have a really good defense.
If everything goes right, then yeah. But let's be logical here.
Okay,
definitely not the best in the AFC. Come on.
No, okay, fine. But I think they have. I think they have a 9-7 ceiling. I think they can go 9-7. I think they probably have a 3-13 floor though. So the team's going to be somewhere in there. They're kind of unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean. For me, I have them going 6-10 with a 3-3 divisional play record. They're not making the playoffs though. I really like Philip Lindsay. He's really solid.
Yeah,
undrafted free agent who really showed that
he was one of the Rookie of the Year candidates last year too.
But just Joe Flacco, man.
I mean,
do you think he's going to be?
I think Joe Flacco's elite. It depends.
Oh my God, Justin!
It depends what you consider elite.
What do you consider?
Keep in mind, I consider elite to be top 13, top 12. Bro. Let's say that. Joe Flacco, he's the Super Bowl MVP. Don't forget that.
That was 4 years ago.
I know, but still, he's a good quarterback. Okay, he got benched last year for Lamar Jackson, but he just had a bad year. He's a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback.
Yeah,
they drafted Drew Lock though, so Drew Lock's the quarterback moving forward. True. But for now and maybe a couple more years, Joe Flacco's at the helm.
I will say, when I think of an elite quarterback, I think of a quarterback that's consistently putting up really above average numbers And I just don't see that in Joe Flacco, honestly.
Maybe he's not.
No,
I think he gets a bad rep,
he's
honestly.
close. He's really close. But honestly, let's talk about wide receivers for them. Emmanuel Sanders, Cortland Sutton. Those two are really good.
It's a good one, too.
Yeah, Noah Fant, I like him. I like that pick. Not what's it called? Who they draft? The Lions?
I think they got him in the first round. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, Noah Fant's not T.J. Hawkins.
No, definitely
he's not that good.
No.
But Iowa had some really good tight ends last year. They got 2 first-round tight ends.
I mean, they're comparing T.J. Hawkinson to Rob Gronkowski and people like that. But
oh, jeez.
Yeah. Other than that, like you said, secondary's good with Kareem Jackson, Bradley or whatever. Yeah, Chris Harris as well. I like Bradley Chubb and I like Von Miller. Yeah.
Okay, so my third team in the AFC West, here is my second sleeper team for the year. And it's the Oakland Raiders. Here's why.
Yeah.
AB, they got Colton Miller as their left tackle. He's back from injury. I believe he was injured last year. Rodney Hudson is a good center. They got Trent Brown as their right tackle now. He was really good, keep in mind, last year. And then they go out and get Tyrell Williams and who was another receiver they got? Hunter Renfrow they drafted. So that's 3 really good receivers right now in AB, Williams, and Hunter Renfrow. And then I think Derek Carr's a top 10 quarterback. I think he could be. And then Josh Jacobs they drafted in the first round. I think it was the Cowboys pick that they traded for Amari Cooper. So that's a pretty good offense right there, I would say. And then they have Jalen Richard as their backup running back. He's pretty solid too. Mm-hmm. And then defensively, they drafted Clelin Ferrell at number 4 overall. That was kind of high. I feel like that was a bit of a reach. But I do like Clelin Ferrell. Jonathan Hankins is pretty good. They got him from, I believe it was the Giants. He played at Ohio State a long time ago. Arden Key, they're really waiting to break out this year. Vontaze Burfict, like I mentioned earlier, he's out of Cincinnati. He's in Oakland now. And then their secondary, I'm pretty high on. Yeah. Darren Conley, Darryl Worley, LaMarcus Joyner, and Jonathan Abram, and Carl Joseph. That's not a bad secondary. So they could play a 4-2-5 look like I was mentioning earlier with the Browns because they're kind of slim at linebacker. It says Nicholas Morrow is their weak linebacker. So if they could put Tahir Whitehead and Vontaze Burfict as the linebackers and then have a 5 DB look, I think that would probably work better for the Raiders defense.
Yeah. For the Raiders, I have them going 7-9 with a 1-5 divisional play record. I mean, it's not like
be better than that.
I just don't know. What's it called? Derek Carr, was once a really high caliber, good quarterback, and then he broke his leg, right?
Yeah, he did something.
I do like Josh Jacobs, honestly. I mean, he's not bad, but he's not.
We're gonna see. He's a rookie.
Yeah,
give him time.
I like Antonio Brown, honestly. I mean,
he's probably fourth best receiver in the league.
In the middle of preseason, you have him crying about winning his whole helmet. Like, what does that even mean?
He needs to just stop that. All that stuff.
I know.
He can't bring the drama with him. He gotta leave that.
I mean, he's already done that.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man, I will say though, who's the coach?
John Gruden.
John Gruden's not going to put up with that. He's not going to put up with that.
And they got Mike Mayock too as their GM.
Yeah,
I think their front office is pretty good now.
Yeah, for real.
Mike Mayock was a draft analyst.
Yeah. What's it called? Antonio Brown. Yeah. Terrell Williams. He's questionable as of late, I think, injured. But Hunter Renfrow, I like him. He was picked what?
I don't know.
4th? 3rd?
Yeah, maybe he was. I think he was day 3.
Yeah. And then
he played at Clemson for 18 years.
Yeah,
He was in there. He was at Clemson forever.
I mean, their O-line isn't terrible. It's definitely not.
It's not elite, but it's not bad.
They have Trent Brown. They have Rodney Hudson. Those two are pretty good. But
Trent Brown's, I think, one of the better tackles.
Yeah, they're going to be running left side and all that.
Yeah.
Now, I do agree. Oh man, that 4th overall pick was.
Yeah, it was a reach, but I don't think it was a bad. It wasn't a bad pick.
Dude,
it was just a reach.
You have people on the board like, what's his face? Like
Ed
Devin
Oliver.
Bush,
They could take Oliver.
Yeah, for
real.
real.
Devin White. They could.
I mean, with your linebackers is Nicholas Morrow, Vontaze Burfict, and Tahir Whitehead. Why not take someone like?
They probably should have taken Devin White.
That they did that. I just don't get it. Also, their safeties and quarterbacks, not that bad. So, yeah.
Okay, so my second team in the AFC West I have as the first wildcard team. Again, a team that should get a home playoff game, but the way that the NFL works is they don't, is the LA Chargers at 11-5. Their depth chart, they're pretty stacked on offense once again. Phillip Rivers, obviously, is an elite quarterback. They have Austin Eckler now stepping into Melvin Gordon's role because they said they're going to suspend talks until after the year. So that means Austin Eckler is RB1 in LA. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Travis Benjamin, their top 3 receivers. That's pretty solid. Their O-line is all back from last year, and now with the addition of Mike Pouncey from the Steelers, that's a really good addition at center. I really like the defense too. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. I worry about the defense this year though because Derwin James is hurt.
Yeah.
And I think they said he'll miss like at least the first half of the year, so that concerns me a little bit. But I think the Chargers will be as good as last year. But unfortunately for them, they'll have to be a wild card team.
Yeah. Now for the Chargers, I have them going 10-6, 4-2 divisional play. They are the 5 seed. I like this team. I do. Phillip Rivers, he showed that he actually could be considered elite because he took his team pretty far into the playoffs. But
it just sucks they have to play New England.
Yeah. I like Melvin Gordon, even though he is really injury prone as of late. Now, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams as a wide receiver duo, not bad either. Now, you have Joey Bosa, who really came out last year as a really scary and
I think he was a
caliber.
Pro Bowl. He
was Pro Bowl. And then you have Melvin Ingram also to help with Joey Bosa to go after the quarterback. It's going to be really what would you say prove it year, not as
make it or break it.
Yeah, make it. Who? Not a what would you say last year wasn't a fluke season. This is the year that they have to show that they are. Prove it year.
Okay, so we both had the Chiefs winning the division.
Yeah.
I have them as the 3 seed in the AFC actually, because I had the Browns winning some form of tiebreaker over the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I have the Chiefs as a 3 seed at 11-5. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be good as last year just because of losing Kareem Hunt. Damian Williams is good, and LaShawn McCoy they're both good, but they're not as good as Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Kareem Hunt fit in Kansas City. He was so good. Him and Tyreek Hill, that offense was scary.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be different now because they just picked up LaShawn McCoy, Damian Williams, so they have a pretty stacked backfield. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the league now, maybe. And then obviously their top 3 receivers: Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, and McCole Hardman. I like that McCole Hardman pick. Watching him in the preseason, he gives them some really good speed at receiver that I think they were lacking last year, other than Tyreek Hill, because they really had no speed other than him last year. And then obviously Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the game. And then defensively, getting Frank Clark, like I said earlier, getting the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu, that's good. That defense still, I think, needs to be revamped a little bit. They have Bashad Breeland as their other corner. He's okay. Kendall Fuller, I like him. Their defensive line,
it's not good.
It's not that good. Alex Okafor, he's okay. Chris Jones, he's okay. They need to improve the front 7
it's just
because
Frank Clark.
Yeah. But they did improve, but they need to improve even more.
Not good.
Frank Clark he's a little bit of an upgrade over D Ford, I feel like, but because D Ford's out now.
Now for me, I also have the Chiefs winning the West. Number 2 seed going 11-5, 3-3 divisional play. Patrick Mahomes, baller. I mean, whenever you put up those many yardage and 50 touchdowns, that's crazy. Now, other than that, I do like running backs. We all know wide receiver is pretty good. Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, all that. Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends. And then, as we talked about, defense could be better. But other than that, I like this team. I have them going to the Super Bowl, but I also have the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl, and I have the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah. So I was just going to say, my Super Bowl prediction is... Wait, what was yours?
I had the Cowboys beating the Chiefs.
In the Super Bowl. Okay, yeah. I had the Saints over the Patriots. So those are our Super Bowl predictions. Let's just hit on baseball real fast. This podcast went way over the time that I was expecting it to. Yeah. So give me a World Series prediction. The teams and the winner go.
Okay, so for the AL, I have Astros going to the World Series, but also have, this may come as a surprise, but I have not the Dodgers, but I have the Braves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have Yankees, Dodgers.
Yeah.
Dodgers finally win their World Series.
Really?
Their first in 3 years. Yeah. They're not losing 3 straight World Series. No way. And the Dodgers are way better than everyone else in the NL. That's the thing. But I don't think the Dodgers are good enough to compete with the Astros. But I feel like the Astros are going to lose to the Yankees, and I think the Dodgers are better than the Yankees.
The Yankees are the only team, but I really feel the Yankees have no starting pitching depth.
This is true. But
the
Astros bullpen's weak though.
That's true, but honestly, they have Ryan Presley. I don't know. I think last time I heard he's injured. He's the best setup man in baseball, and then you have Roberto Osuna. So that's the best setup and closer combination. And when you have the 1-2-3 punch of Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Zach Greinke.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty scary.
Oh, man.
I just think the Yankees are back now because
Really?
last year they had a down year,
It's good.
losing in the
Only way
They're
I
not-
see
yeah,
the
losing in
Yankees
playoffs.
beating the Astros is if Aaron Judge just plays the 27 version.
Their bats are gonna have to heat up.
Exactly.
They're gonna have to, and I think they will.
LeMahieu's going to have to be coming off of.
LeMahieu is probably gonna be second in the MVP building.
Yeah.
He's batting like 350.
I know.
The dude is so good. He's so
And then-
underrated.
They're going to have to shut down George Springer. He's one of the best
Yeah, this is
postseason bats that we have seen in a long time. And the reason why I have Braves, they're just a young team.
Yeah, I like
and
the Braves.
I love Acuna, and I really love just their bats, dude. They wanted their bats. Freddie Freeman, Josh Donaldson. Those three are going to carry them.
Donaldson had a good year.
Yeah, and their bullpen is really good too, but it's just going to have to rely on that starting pitching, which I think they will figure it out during the postseason.
All right, folks, so we're going to wrap it up there. There was our full NFL predictions as well as a World Series prediction. We will probably make a MLB postseason podcast closer to October and the start of that, and then we'll get into MLB and NHL, or into NBA and NHL, and as well as more college football talk later in the year. We'll see y'all next time.